This is the help video for the ocean currents lab stations. Now I'm going to go one by one. So this is the video for the science skills station. So again, very important. You have to really read everything and focus on what you're reading. If you just read it and don't think about it, like they say, it goes in one ear out the other, it goes in your eyes and out of your brain. If you read it and you're not focusing, you're not going to know what you read and you're going to miss something. All right, so be careful. Read slowly. Focus. Practice focusing. So what's going to happen is the first thing you're going to do, activity one, you have to watch this video. Put headphones on. Watch it alone. This is not part of the group work. You can work with a partner on other parts of this assignment, but not the video and not the reading. All right. So watch this alone with headphones on. Really focus. It's going to ask you to make a diagram of what happened on your recording sheet. Okay. Then it says compare and contrast the motion of the cool and warm water. That just means explain what each is doing. Is it spinning in circles, doing backflips, sinking, floating? Is it bubbling? What is it doing? Okay. And then when you're done doing that, we're going to answer some questions about that. Again, we have a graph. It tells you to analyze this graph. Notice we're looking at the density of liquid water as the temperature changes. So this is telling you something about how dense water is at different temperatures. You should be able to see that there is a trend. Okay. Now this one's talking about the salinity, how salinity affects the density of salt water. And salinity, if you read carefully, it tells you that's just how much salt is in the water. So salinity here, parts per thousand, the higher the number, that means there's more salt in the water. So you're seeing how if there's more salt in the water, what does that do to density? Okay. Now imagine when you're doing these questions, the entire ocean, the huge deep ocean. Imagine if there's different temperature water or different salinity water. Where is that water going to go? If you have really salty water, do you think it'll float or sink? Really warm water, do you think it'll float or sink, etc.? Keep everything into perspective. We're talking about ocean currents. Now, activity two tells you to remember all that stuff from activity one. All the things you learned from activity one, you're going to apply them to activity two. Here we have a picture. This is the thermohaline circulation. And the questions ask you to observe. Does what you saw in the previous activity about the temperature and the density of water, is that supported here? Essentially, what you got to do is look which color is on top of the other one. The red means hot, blue means cold. Is one above the other one? It's hard to show in two dimensions, but one of them overlaps and goes above the other one. That means that it's higher in the water column. It means it's like floating. It's more shallow. The one that's under the other one is deeper in the ocean. Okay. Now it asks you to tell it what's happening at these specific locations. At this curve, you see the color changes. What does that mean? What's happening? Is it sinking, rising? It even says that there. And then let's see. You can answer the next question yourself. Now some tips for this section right here. This are the surface ocean currents. So on the surface, not deep. These ones talk about different depths. These are the surface currents, and they call them gyres. That just means like a spinning cycle of water, a gyre. Okay. It's saying what direction do they flow? You can use words like east and west. Remember, west would be like on this side of that map, east is on this side. Clockwise, CW, like a clock going this way, an analog clock. Counterclockwise goes the opposite way, an analog clock. So use some of those words. Okay? Also, when you look at the Earth, remember, you know where the equator is. You know where the North and South Pole are. Do you know anything about the temperatures in those two locations? Now, this last part down here that I'm going to talk to you about a little bit, these are the winds on the Earth. Now, you learned a little bit about this in the first Energy from the Sun lecture video. So you should know why the currents go this way and this way. And all I want you to do is compare the wind currents to the ocean currents, the surface ocean currents. Okay. If you need help, just ask.